Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to please welcome to the stage the President of Jewish Care, Bruce Rosengarten, whom I'll be interviewing in a question and answer about the upcoming appeal. Bruce, if I can ask you a couple of questions. The first one is that our theme tonight for this year is Giving is in Our Nature. And also you can see that there's a logo there behind, which people can see as well. Perhaps, Bruce, you could tell us a little bit about the theme and the logo.
Thanks, Tom. For those of us who are not scientists, the logo is actually DNA threads. And the DNA refers to what we are as a community. For 164 years, this community has given generously, given willingly, and supported Jewish Care in its efforts to look after people who have needed assistance. We have been a community that has lived and thrived on the concept of tzedakah. That is one aspect of our DNA. Giving is in our DNA. The second part of this is that this is what Jewish Care is about. Giving is in our nature also. Giving and supporting members of our community who are in need. So our theme is a positive theme. It's one of supporting one another and about doing it together, because together we can turn lives around.
Thanks very much. One of the important aspects of this year's campaign involves Greg's story. A round of applause for Greg. And perhaps, Bruce, you can tell people a bit about Greg's story.
Greg was like many of us in this room. He had worked as a librarian for 20 years. And then one day, he's called in and told he's being made redundant, and he was given 6 weeks' pay. Unfortunately, the 6 weeks didn't last very long, and Greg found that he couldn't live where he was living, he couldn't afford the rent, and he moved into, let's say, less desirable living house. And in that area, in that neighbourhood, he was subject to verbal threats and physical threats and lived in a very difficult area, which made his life even more stressed than just looking for a job and having financial needs. In a short amount of time, Greg was out of there and looking for somewhere to live. He had no housing, he had no job and no income. He came to Jewish Care. At Jewish Care, Greg was able to find housing assistance, financial counselling, personal counselling, helping him to rebuild his life. And I can actually tell you the day we received the mocked-up copy of the letter, Greg got a job. And Greg has now been employed for nearly 2 months and is applying for a permanent position in his role. And since being employed, Greg has come back to Jewish Care, not asking for need, but giving as a volunteer. That is a typical turnaround story. The compelling story of Greg is interesting. But further to that, there's another 4,999 people who came to Jewish Care last year who had that same need. 5,000 people like Greg needed Jewish Care, and together we helped turn their lives around.
Well, look, you're right, Bruce. Greg is a true inspiration to all of us and shows that there is capacity amongst all of us to give, irrespective of our circumstances. So how can each person in this room make a difference and create positive change in our community, Bruce?
Tonight is about raising money. Let's not be ashamed about that. We need $5.3 million to provide, you can see, the social welfare programs, kosher food services, spiritual services, and a healthy ageing program. And it can only happen with your help. This money is not supplied by the government. About $3.5 million of this money goes directly to helping people in financial aid, financial counselling, general counselling, whether it's from physical abuse, gambling, alcoholic or drug abuse, helping people in welfare need and helping them rebuild their lives. Tonight, it's about asking you for your help. It's asking you to help turn lives around together. So please, let's work together and let's make an impact in the community.